In America's finest city, a quiet crisis has been growing for 30 years. One that threatens every streetlight, every park, every police officer on patrol. It's not crime. It's not homelessness. It's the San Diego City Employees Retirement System and the $3.3 billion hole in its funding. Until 1996, San Diego's pension system was the envy of the nation, 92.3% funded, with the city faithfully paying every penny of the actuary's full annual required contribution. Then came City Manager's Proposal 1, MP1. Facing budget pressure, city leaders capped employer contributions below what the actuary demanded. In some years, they shorted the fund by as much as $100 million. They called it contribution stabilization. Surplus investment earnings that should have strengthened the system were instead used to plug holes in the operating budget. At the exact same time, labor negotiations quietly sweetened benefits. Higher multipliers, retroactive credit increases, and richer retiree health coverage, all without requiring extra contributions to pay for them. In 2002, MP2 doubled down on the gamble, extending the undercontributions and adding even more generous perks. Pension Board trustee Diane Scipione, a registered investment advisor, saw the danger immediately. In a November 2002 letter to the mayor, she warned of a snake in the garden, accounting tricks that would eventually devour the city. For 16 months, her warnings were ignored. She faced retaliation, mocking full-page newspaper ads, ethics complaints, and attempts to physically bar her from board meetings. Then, the dot-com crash hit. Investments tanked. The house of cards collapsed. The city had sold municipal bonds in 2002 and 2003 without disclosing the massive hidden pension shortfall, a clear violation. In 2006, the SEC charged the city of San Diego with securities fraud. Top officials resigned in disgrace: the city manager, the auditor, the treasurer, and eventually the mayor himself. The national press branded it Enron by the Sea. By June 30th, 2009, the funded ratio had plunged to just 66.5%, with an unfunded liability of $2.2 billion. According to the independent actuary's briefing presented to the City Council in January 2026, the San Diego City Employees Retirement System now stands at 76.1% funded, the highest level since the 2008 financial crisis. The unfunded actuarial liability has shrunk slightly, from $3.49 billion to $3.46 billion. But the raw numbers are still staggering. Total projected pension liabilities now exceed $14.5 billion, while plan assets sit at approximately $11.02 billion. On July 1, 2026, the city must write a record check of $563.2 million, $410 million of that pulled directly from the general fund. That's nearly 20 cents of every tax dollar San Diegans pay going straight to cover retirement promises made decades ago. Pension costs have exploded. $350 million in 2020, nearly $490 million last year, and now this historic $563 million spike, all driven by salary increases and benefit enhancements that far exceeded the actuary's assumptions, plus the lingering $142 million hit from the court-ordered reversal of Proposition B. Every extra dollar poured into pensions means less for the services San Diegans rely on every day. Pension costs now consume nearly 20 cents of every general fund tax dollar, roughly $410 million this year alone, out of a $2.15 billion general fund. The result is painful and visible. Libraries slashed to 5-day weeks, closed Sundays and Mondays in many branches, recreation centers with shorter hours, parks and streets suffering from deferred maintenance, the same pothole-filled roads residents complain about daily. A citywide hiring freeze is already in place, with discussions of up to 1,500 potential layoffs from a 12,000-person workforce. Public safety has not been spared. Fire stations have been browned out, leading to slower emergency response times. Police overtime budgets are exploding. 5-year financial projections show more than $1 billion in cumulative deficits through 2030. To plug the holes, the city has raised trash fees, parking meter rates, stormwater charges, and water bills, hitting working families hardest. Meanwhile, many retired city employees, especially from police and fire, collect generous pensions, often exceeding $100,000 a year, with automatic cost of living adjustments, while current services crumble around them. In June 2012, San Diegans delivered a clear message. By a vote of 65.8% to 34.2%, they overwhelmingly approved Proposition B, the boldest pension reform the city had ever attempted. For every new hire after July 20, 2012, except police, firefighters, and lifeguards, the old guaranteed defined benefit pension was closed. In its place, a 401k-style defined contribution plan with a city match. No more blank check promises shifted onto future taxpayers. The results were immediate and measurable. The funded ratio rose from the post-scandal lows all the way to 82% by 2021, the highest level in more than a decade, and the growth in unfunded liabilities finally began to slow. But the unions fought back. They argued the city had violated state labor law by placing the measure on the ballot without first negotiating with employee unions. The California Public Employment Relations Board agreed. In August 2018, the California Supreme Court upheld that decision. Then, on January 5, 2021, a San Diego Superior Court judge formally invalidated Proposition B. Roughly 2,500 employees hired between 2012 and 2021 were suddenly offered the chance to switch back into the old defined benefit system. The city was ordered to make them whole with retroactive service credit and pay a 7% cash penalty on back contributions. The financial blow was swift. $142 million added directly to the unfunded actuarial liability overnight, plus tens of millions more in annual costs going forward. By fiscal year 2025, the reversal alone had increased the city's required pension contribution by $48 million per year. Total unwind costs through settlements and penalties have now surpassed $203 million, and the meter is still running. On July 1, 2026, the city will write its largest pension check in history, $563.2 million. $410 million pulled directly from the general fund. That's nearly 20 cents of every tax dollar you pay. Next year, the payment climbs again to $573.2 million before any scheduled drop in 2029. The city's own 5-year financial outlook warns of cumulative general fund deficits topping $1.03 billion from fiscal year 2026 through 2030. With pension and retiree healthcare costs as the single largest structural driver. Hiring freezes, library closures, fire station brownouts, and higher fees on families are no longer temporary fixes. They are the new normal. Yet despite repeated warnings from actuaries, whistleblowers, and voters, city leaders have offered no meaningful structural reform, no new proposition to protect taxpayers, no shift to sustainable 401k-style plans for future hires. The defined benefit promises keep growing with every labor contract and salary increase that exceeds actuarial assumptions. San Diego's pension crisis is not coming. It is here. And every resident, today and for decades to come, is paying the price for 3 decades of deferred decisions. The question is no longer whether the bill is due. The question is, who will finally have the courage to fix it?